Hi guys, welcome to the live session of today's interaction. Um, as earlier on indicated, we're going to talk about application processes for fully funded master's programs and PhD programs in the United States of America. Today we have with us two experienced persons. They have quite different backgrounds in terms of how they got their funding in USA. Eben is here with me and currently a PhD student at the University of Georgia in Athens, right? And he's pursuing a PhD in educational related field. And then he initially applied to study MSc, Masters in the same university, and following his successful completion of the master's studies, he um, jumped onto a PhD program. The master's and the PhD were fully funded. He's going to share his experience with us, how he he did it, so that it would inspire and motivate some of us to also adopt his strategy. Um, and where we do not know, we can learn from. Also, Osmond is showing here as Amponsa. Um, is also an experienced person in terms of applying for fully funded PhD right from Ghana. Uh, and so he didn't have to even go through master's program in the US. He just got funded for his PhD. Prior to that, he had bachelor's in education and then also mathematics education and then also uh, MSc, MPhil from University of Cape Coast, Ghana, and he was a teacher at the SDA College of Education prior to him winning the PhD scholarship. And so I will start with Eben. Eben, welcome. You can unmute yourself. And then, even though I gave just a brief introduction, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do currently, and the related experiences.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity. And yes, I think that you have briefly said my biography. I finished UCC bachelor's and then my first master's. And from there, I proceeded to teach at the SDA High School, Agona, in the Ashanti region for 3 years before proceeding to teach at the college level at Enchi College of Education. So I have this experience at a college and the high school levels before moving to the United States to do my second master's in student affairs and higher education at Indiana State University. When I graduated, then I proceeded to do my doctoral at the University of Georgia, Athens, currently where I am. And I serve as a graduate teaching and research assistant in my capacity. I teach the master students introduction course, and I also do research for some of my professors. So basically, that's my background. Yep.
Thank you very much. Just a quick clarification. You mentioned the study program you did at Masters. Can you repeat, please?
Student affairs and higher education.
Exactly. What does that entail? Because I think an area you are considering for your PhD. But what does that entail? I will come back also to talk about what qualifications or prerequisite that one needs to have prior to studying such program.
So basically, student affairs is a program that helps students on college levels how to help college level students to succeed successfully on college campuses. So you help them. We talk about student success. We talk about student life. You talk about rest life. All these are basically things that or offices that help. They are concentrated basically on students. So the difference between the student affairs and profession is that we don't have that as a acceptable practice in Ghanaian and even mostly in African as a continent. You can only hear about it in South Africa, which is a greenfield now that they have started about, I think, some few years ago. So quite apart from that, but there are some few individuals who are from Ghana and Nigeria. They came to do the program here and they are practicing it in some way, somehow in Ghana. So that is how the thing is. And you consider or you compare that with our system in Ghana, which is much more about administrative. So the difference between the Ghanaian, the higher education program or the higher education professional practices and the student affairs is that the higher educational practices basically deals with the system of the education. How to govern higher education. So university vice chancellor or vice what was the name? Vice what was the boss, the president of the university? How do we call that in Ghana?
VC, vice chancellor.
Yes, vice chancellor. So we have the vice chancellor and we have the pro vice chancellor. Here in the United States, they have the university president, and under the university president, we have the various vice president of student affairs. So the vice president of student affairs deals basically with everything that concerns students. So things that concern students do not come directly to the president.
VC.
In Ghana, you hear of the dean of students. Here, we also have the dean of students, but the here dean of students are also basically academics. They don't deal directly with students. So that is how the differences between our system and here works like. But now you can see the influx of many students, many people coming from Africa to do the program.
That's what I wanted to reiterate, because it looks like it's a gray area which is not explored in Africa, and so probably it gives opportunity for Africans to develop themselves in that field and inculcate that skills in our curriculum. Thank you very much for the insight. So let's go to Osmond. Mr. Mponsa, can you tell us briefly about yourself and then what you're doing so far in relation to your studies?
Okay, so back in Ghana in 2010, I completed my Bachelor of Education in Mathematics. But prior to that, I attended the Presbyterian College of Education, then transitioned to do my first degree at UCC. Then I taught for a couple of years at the senior high school. So whilst on that, I went back to UCC to do my MPhil in the same area, mathematics education. Then in 2021, I had the opportunity to join the SDA College of Education with my MPhil degree. But whilst on that, I realized the MPhil was not sustainable to put me on my appointment looking at the trends in the academic space, since we were now awarding first degree at the college level. Prior to that, it was a diploma, that is set A before a transition to diploma, and now is a degree awarding institution. So equally, the colleges also need PhD students to meet the academic space of faculty. So that was a challenge for me to move on and then pursue a PhD that is also in the same field, because in Ghana we have the idea of skirt and blouse, which is not permitted. That is, at the university, your first degree, your MPhil, and your PhD should be in the same area of study. So my main objective was to pursue a program in mathematics education. And I would say after 23 months, I finally landed in the US to pursue my dream at the University of Delaware. And the university is in Newark. But sometimes people confuse the New Jersey Newark and that of the university, the Delaware State Newark. So a kind of education that in the US, we have two Newark. One is in New Jersey and one is in Delaware. And officially, Delaware is the first state in the United States, but by population size is the second smallest state in the US.
Interesting.
So I am a PhD first year student, and for my research assistantship, I worked with my professor who is on a grant project that is also absorbing students to fund them for their PhD. So I'm fortunate as a professional development, but it pays me to fund my education at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amponsa. This is quite inspiring, and also thank you for accepting to share your experiences with our brothers and sisters back at home who are looking for similar opportunity to fund their studies. And to our listeners, if you would have any question, please do not hesitate to write your question in the comment section. From what I can gather, um, all our listeners had education background or teaching background. Myself, I was a teacher before I went through the processes to study bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Bachelor's and master's and PhD also on scholarship. But today, we want to focus on the application in US. And so I just want to reassure our listeners who have education background, who are teachers, who have gone through the various stages and are still looking for possibilities to fully funded studies in the US, they should not lose hope, because there are people who have attained that height, and you are here to share with us what needs to be done to attract such opportunity. So I will go back to Eben. How did you identify this specific area? Like, what effort did you put into identifying this study program? Was it something that you had thought of prior to application? How was the application journey? How did you even identify that the program was a funded program and the university as well? Can you share with us what has been the journey so far relating to the masters before we talk about how you translated into the PhD program?
Okay, so this is what happened in 2016, when I finished the bachelor's and we started our national service. I did mine at the Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, IEPA. So I was supposed to have been
UCC, right?
at UCC, yes.
Great.
I was supposed to have been a TA for one professor, but an issue happened which for whatever reason, they told the professors that they should find another department for their TAs, their supposed TAs. And so my professor talked with, I think, Professor Ankoma, and he communicated to me that I should come there, and I went there to work with them. It was there that the connection came. So sometime I think that you just have to work with your heart and your hope comes. Personally, I did not have that thing of, continuing education, because there was no hope, like there was no money. So I was like, let me go and work. And when I was doing the master's, one doctor who is the current director general for the Institute of Educational Planning and Administration at UCC, called Dr. Boachi Yadom, Michael Boachi Yadom. He's so phenomenal. He used to send me, and I was working for him, some of his basic research and marking. So sometimes he travels and I work for him. And the way when he comes to me and I had just finished bachelor's, and the way I was responding to students, their inquiries, and he was like, no, I see that you have a lot of things like me. And there's this program that fits your purpose, because you have genuine concern for students. You have really a good heart for students. So your time and your attention for students is exactly what this program seeks to do. So what I was there at home. He sent me a text that there are some study abroad cohorts coming to Ghana, and he is the point of contact, and so he has secured two scholarships.
Can you take it again, because there was a little bit of breakage? Because I want our listeners to get exactly that point. It was very important where you were talking about the cohorts and stuff, the study abroad.
So yes, so he sent me a text, just a phone text, that he has secured two scholarships from a study abroad cohort who were coming to Ghana, and he was the point of contact. So he was in regular contact with them. So he got these two opportunities, and he has gotten me one, the master's on. So and he has gotten the PhD one for another guy. He mentioned the name. And so he told me he made the arrangement that he wants me to meet them. So they came from Indiana State University, and I was there. He called me and he introduced me to the woman, the coordinator of the program. And so he said that I should put in my application. Now, the barrier was that as at that time, as at 2016, we were about finishing our national service, so it has eaten into 2017. And so I started the application and I realized that they were looking for IELT. And I had not written that yet as at that time. And I quickly went to check the amount involved in writing that exam, and I could not afford.
You couldn't raise it.
I didn't tell him. What I told him was that I told one of my colleagues, is my line breaking, glitchy?
Yeah, it's breaking somehow, so I don't know the flow. If you can take some short time to check your internet connectivity. Can you speak? Let me hear if it's okay.
Yeah, can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's better. Continue.
So he did the introduction. I told one of my colleagues who I was working with at the national service level that, hey, this is the opportunity, but I don't have this exam. And I knew that the week before, 2 weeks before, that guy had written that exam. So I told him that, hey, Charlie, I think that you stand a better chance. So put in your application, and I'll also tell Doc that this is the situation. So I've told you. And so we just apply. He applied and he got it. He came. So I didn't come. Yes, I didn't come. I gave him that opportunity, and he came. And so after the national service, I had gathered some money. I didn't write the exam, but because I had forgotten that, and I said that let me pursue my master's here. And so I started pursuing my master's at UCC.
Go ahead.
Okay, I am just looking at you to see the signal. That's why.
It's fine. It's fine. It breaks somehow,
right.
But it's okay.
Right. I traveled, and when I came, my internet connection had been cut off. So I traveled for research work. So I'm just using my phone's connection.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was when, after I had put in the application, it stopped. 2020, I got the opportunity to apply to the program. At that time, I had finished my MPhil in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had started teaching at the Aguna SDA Senior High School already. And so in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2020, I was denied a visa.
Okay. Wow.
Then I ignored again. But that time I got assistantship, I got scholarship, but I was denied a visa.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
These are some of the things. I think that it all come back to the issue, or maybe as time goes on, you can just skip and ask me questions, and then I'll throw light on them. Definitely. Because yes, try to ask me that question, and I'll come back to explain that.
All right. Thank you.
So I ignored And 2021, I was there where the program coordinator reached out to me, "Hey, Ebenezer, aren't you coming to school?" And I was like, "What is this?" And so that time I had gotten the appointment at Enchi College of Education. So
Wow.
I was teaching from 2021 August to 2022 August without a break at the college, because they were just doing that where the first years will go and the second years come, and I was teaching throughout. I was so tired, and I was like, would these people give me a break? And so along the line, around May, the program coordinator reached out to me and he told me that he wants me to come. And I'm like, what is this? And then I said that I don't have assistantship now. And so he got me into contact with one of the offices that was looking for assistants, graduate assistants. And I interviewed and I got the opportunity. Then fast forward, I went to my interview on a Thursday. I was given the visa, and on the following Tuesday, I flew to the United States.
Wow.
So that was how my whole situation went. And yes, I think that whilst the grace of God works, we should also put in the effort to work along, because me personally, I never stopped working on it. Neither was I so, how do you call it, desperate. That's my point. I was not desperate to go to come to America. I was like, okay, let me go. That's why I'm building myself here in Ghana. If it doesn't work there, I have this opportunity. So I was truly not desperate, but I was still not stopping trying. That's it.
So this is something you did by yourself based on the recommendation that your superior, I would say the professor you were working for, gave you, right? The information he gave.
Yes. When she gave me the recommendation, everything was by myself. He only told me that if I encounter any challenge, I should let him know. So mine was to read. I committed to reading about things, everything that they were looking for, and I put in my application, writing my SOP, doing my my graduate assistantships interview, all by myself. And I think that basically that was it. And also, let me also acknowledge some of my colleagues, friends. Networking was also important to me, because some of my friends, that guy whom I told you that I had given the opportunity, was there. And I got in touch with him, and he was also helping me out, giving me resume templates that works in the United States system. So he will give me, and I will write my resume, and I will send to them, and they will do this one, do it this way, this one, do it this way. So I had these two friends, Godwin and William, who were also instrumental in my assistance. But they love me so much that because I never put everything, I didn't put things on them. I just only go for, okay, can you review this for me? Oh, Charlie, you are good to go. This is excellent. How did you? Because I was reading. I read to get samples of things that I need to do online, and just writing is not difficult for me. I was just writing, and then I will send it to them. It's like, yeah, they will always say that even mine was not like this, but you are. So I was about 80% of sure that I was on the right path. So through the guidance of my networks and my personal effort too, and with the help of God, that was how things came about, and I got it.
Thank you. Before I move to Osmond, quickly, so Manuel DeJoy, I wouldn't say it's unfortunate. However, we have all our speakers with background in education, but the principle of applying for fully funded studies in US cuts across all study areas. And in your area where you studied mechanical engineering, there are a number of funded opportunities. Even there are some of them that would accept bachelor straight to PhD. You have to know how to search for that fund, and that is what our our speakers here are going to help us identify. So
Sure,
stay
we
tuned.
surely get there.
And Adam, also, yeah, finance, you have also several opportunities for finance. But usually the finance area, you also have to have in most of the schools, including the University of Delaware, requires that you have a GRE, a certain score of GRE. So stay tuned, and then we will give you further information about that. Rhoda, we will come to you when it's a time for question and answer. And Osmond, Rhoda has a question for you. If your
Okay.
supervisor is looking for master's or PhD students only, um, and if there is um, a space around, but we will come back to that because I feel like you are into mathematics and probably your supervisor is into mathematics education, but maybe
Yes.
she is looking for a different area, and we can talk about that eventually. Okay, so Osman, please tell us a little, slightly how you identify this opportunity and the processes you went through to secure it.
Okay. I will begin with the idea that we don't meet people by accident. They were
Mhm.
meant to cross our path for a purpose. Like how Eben acknowledged those who also supported him in this process. You can't do it all. And you need to admit that you have weaknesses, others have some strengths that you will learn on them to see your way through. So I can't remember way back 2021, I even engaged you, Dr. Enoch, whilst we were in Czech Republic, that I am done with my master's. Is there opportunity? You came in with the possibility of a hybrid program where I can be in Ghana, start it, and then come and finish in the Czech Republic.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, but suddenly the terrain at the college was quite different from the SHS. So I needed to also make myself adapt to the college system and see how I can pursue that. So it was like that dream was still on the radar to some extent. And in 2022, surprisingly, that was the very last time that UCC was by way taking care of SDA College of Education. That
Mm-hmm.
was when the various colleges have been split to be mentored by the various universities. So we were under Winneba, and that was the last year, our first 4-year program, they were ending their course of study. So during the exams week, the supervisor from UCC came. And surprisingly, that was also the first time I observed that scenario. The supervisors, they come alone, they supervise the exams, and then at the end, they move away. But this time, he came with a TA. So casually, after one exams, I got engaged with a TA to just discuss. He is at UCC. I also completed there, so some kind of friendship and make rapport from there. So this discussion came in with study abroad opportunity. And he said, oh, there are some WhatsApp platforms that discusses some of these issues, like how you have started. And I am happy to share my experience as a testimony to God. And then also, Brian Enoch, acknowledge your effort that we have the credentials, we have the knowledge, but we need a push to start something. So he was the guy who landed me on the first WhatsApp platform, which was in October 2022. And from there, it took me 23 months to land in the US. Meaning when I got on it October, that was the application season. So I weighed myself seeing information that were shared on the platform. Some will share universities that are opening for application. But when I took chance to study the documents that are required, I needed SOP, I need recommenders, I need schools that I will apply. I would say I had no much information. Then on top of that, the financial commitment to apply to schools, $100, $80, and what have you. So I used that opportunity that it is better learning and then putting in the effort when things are set. So throughout 2023, it was a steady opportunity for me to do it myself, because that was the brand of the WhatsApp group. And interestingly, whilst you're on the WhatsApp group, another group will come. This group is for visa interview session. So within that very year, I had opportunity to land on so many WhatsApp platforms. But the most challenging part is what you have opened up, the application process. Because there are thousands of universities in the US. How many of them can you apply, and how many of them can you fund the application process? And how many recommenders will support you to say you want to apply to 20 universities? So they will give you the effort and then help you out. So that is where it started that. Though whilst on the platform, my interest was PAD mass education. I realized schools that they were sending, I'll go to the department and search for, but they required securing an advisor. I will email some of these advisors and I will not get a better response. I tried Canada also, and that was the same experience that, oh, coming academic year, we don't have space for students to come on as research assistants. So I then decided I need to skew my interest, though they said, or that is on those, some of these platforms we say, oh, when you get a supervisor, then you are assured of getting funding. But I was not getting. So I now decided to just make it open and search for fully funded PAD programs in the US as Google search. Because the school's friends were recommending, I realized they were not meeting my interest. And these were things I learned for myself, that you need to understand what you have and what fits you. So though I was searching for mass education, I realized it differs from one university to another, how they do or how their program mass education is. So I will highlight a bit to help others, not just for education, but for any other programs. So with my experience, I realized some universities, Purdue University, they do curriculum and instruction. Then you will specialize in mathematics education. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you don't know and you go with the lens of mass education,
you will not find anything.
Majority of them, you will find the raw content mass program as PAD.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because that is what Google search will give you most of the hits.
And I usually see curriculum and instruction in most of the, and they are even fully funded. So I think that if you are focused on, maybe I want something in ICT, and because it is curriculum and instruction, I may not apply. Meanwhile, within this, you can specialize either maths, ICT, science, or whatever.
Okay, science and then others. So another dimension is some university call it cognition and instruction.
Okay.
Then within that, you have a specialization that fits you.
Okay.
Okay. So the only straight one that I had for PAD mass education was Montana State University and then Texas State University. It was direct mass education. Okay. But at where I am, University of Delaware, theirs is PAD education.
All right. So let me quickly emphasize that what they are trying to tell us is that sometimes we should broaden our search. If we search specifically for some information, we may miss every opportunity. But if we broaden to capture certain aspects and also go further to read the details of the program, it might guide us in identifying the right program we have to apply for.
Yes. So with University of Delaware, they have PAD education. Then you will specialize under those specifics. So they have learning sciences, they have educational research methods. They have mass education and then other stuff also. So that gave me a better understanding. So the 1 year was not in the way a wasted year. And within that, I had my own time to explore. Then the very reason I appreciate the effort and favor of friends was that I had a student I taught at a senior high school he completed around 2013 or so. And we chanced on Facebook. So he also gave me a direction. And this is the beauty of the teaching environment. Those we make, they also turn around to help us when we are in need. If they don't directly come, they pray for us. If you are a good teacher to them. So when we got hooked up, one reflection that was very funny he dropped up was that I conducted a class test, a class of about 40. I didn't mind the others who performed, so to say, not to my satisfaction. But I was hard on him to cane him because I expected better results in that class test from him. And he said that day was a turning point in his life as a student to be extra serious. So he landed in the US with a master's program in agriculture. And today he is pursuing a PhD in the second year. So he also said he feels whatever means he can also support me, he will wholeheartedly commit himself.
All right. Thank you very much. So quickly for Eben, what we learned from him is that he got a hint that the program was sponsored from his previous superior at UCC. Now, having identified the program, because sometimes there are two things involved. You can identify the program and apply for it without knowing whether it's funded or not, right? How did you identify the funding aspect of the program? And this I'm asking specifically to Amponsah, because I will come back to you in terms of the transition, and then you tell us also. How did you identify the funding? Was it like when you read about the program admission requirement, there was an instruction on possibility of internal funding, or you have to, and how to approach it? What was the procedure to attract that kind of fund?
And then my take. Can I respond to it, or
yes? You. No, it's you, Osman.
Oh, okay. So within the study on those WhatsApp platform, they were into it that most universities in the US and Canada, when you are fortunate, you will get funding by the department or the university. Then in Canada, if you don't get the funding, you have opportunity to work as a student even outside the university. But that reflection was not the same in the US. So what I realized was that in most of the schools that I did my search, in the requirement, they will tell you when you are admitted, you'll be funded. And even when you go to the funding sessions at the university, you get to know the amount that you'll be funded. But as a layman to a different environment, if they say your funding is so and so amount, what value of it is it to me to live on it? But these were what were directly on the platform or on their website. Then another thing I learned most was to engage the program coordinators or directors. Because you don't just put in the application because you have the requirement and then you have the money to pay the application fee. So I email program coordinators or advisors to surely confirm that if you are absorbed or admitted, you'll be granted funding. And the funding in the US system by the university, which is the internal funding, is more or less unemployment. So they call it graduate assistantship either for the master's or the PhD. So by that, you will either be absorbed as a research assistant or as a teaching assistant, or as maybe an office or a sector worker where you work outside your credit hours for your studies. And out of that, the funding comes. And from one university to the other, the funding also varies.
Yes.
So for my search, what I observed was that you have funding that will pay your tuition fees, that will also pay your health insurance, then that will give you stipend, which is living expenses for you to support yourself. And it also comes in two forms. Either you have 9 months funding or 12 months funding. These were the two ideas I saw. So when it is 9 months funding, it means within the year you'll be paid 9 months. During vacation, you survive on your own. Then for the 12-month funding, you are assured of a full year monthly stipend that will take care of your living expenses. And so, okay. So after my applications, I knew very well that if I am admitted, I am guaranteed funding.
All right. Thank you very much for this. And also, I would want to re-echo the fact that, like yours and other related funded programs, you find the funding information under the admission requirement or the program information. I will jump to Eben and then I will give a general idea also about the other aspect, because like you said, there are variations. Some of them, they will say that, for example, almost every person admitted under this study program is funded, right? And some of them, they will even quote the fund per annum, how much they are giving you in terms of teaching assistantship or research assistantship. Even some of them, they will put this information there, but they would also require you to contact a faculty member if they have space for person, right? I am applying to one study program, molecular and cellular biology, and it's a fully funded program, but one of the requirements that you also have to indicate in your essay, application essay, is to interact with a faculty member to see if they have openings like that. So when one is considering applying for funding, they should check all this information to make sure that they are. I almost made a mistake because I was about to submit the person's application essay and stuff. Then I went again to read, and they are requesting for, although it's fully funded, right? But you have to, as part of the essay, you must interact with a faculty member. And I wrote to one person. Interestingly, he has a very small team in the lab, and I feel like there's the possibility of maximizing one chance. But he's on holiday, and eventually tomorrow I would get in touch again. So the funding dynamics, you have to study it carefully. Otherwise, if you just read that it's fully funded and you don't contact a faculty member, in this case, your application might not be considered, or even if they admit you, they will not consider you for funding. But if they are not requesting you to contact any faculty member, that is also very good. Then you don't have to contact anybody and you go ahead with
can I react to that a moment?
All right.
Okay. So as I said, along the line, I realized I was not getting faculty as supervisors for my case. So I needed to tell to programs that do not require looking for faculty, or let's say a would-be supervisor in advance. But interestingly, what I realized is that the universities, they want you to succeed and come. So University of Delaware organized a webinar as part of promoting their admission process. And the facilitator made it genuinely open to us on the webinar that yes, per the application requirement, you are not supposed to look for a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
But she is advising that look for one. The idea is make a connection. If it is successful, fine. If it is not, you have made your effort. So I took that lesson. And she went on to say that to make that connection in your statement of purpose or your personal statement, add it up that you have made contact with a supervisor, or if not at all, your research interest is in line with a supervisor in the department. And this gave a confirmation to some information that were being shared on those WhatsApp platforms that I own.
Mm-hmm.
And this distinguishes a generic statement of purpose from all others. So those who go into statement of purpose that I have one statement of purpose and you use it for university, it is not helpful.
At all.
So two things can distinguish your statement of purpose from university A to university B. One of them is you aligning yourself to a supervisor's research interest, though it is not mandatory that you should secure an advisor. You can give a paragraph of that in your statement of purpose, that two or so research faculty interest aligns with your own. And you know genuinely when you come on the program, they will develop your career interest. You have ended with that. Then another paragraph that can differentiate your statement of purposes. When I visited University of Delaware School of Education, their goal for the mass education program or their focus or vision is totally different from what Texas State University said. So that also you can craft a paragraph and say, oh, Texas State University mass education programs promises that you will become this at the end of the day.
Actually, I'm going to open a page that establishes what you are saying, but keep on talking, because when you go to the essay, they outline at least 4 points that your essay should cover at the University of Delaware. But go ahead, and I will show it later.
So after adding the supervisor paragraph, research idea, and what have you in my SOP, then I emailed the supervisor, made him aware of my intention, what I want to achieve at the end of the day if I happen to be on this project. And then I attached my CV and transcript, and then concluded that if there is opportunity to interact with him, I'll be willing to discuss my application and then possibility of joining the university in further. And through this, out of my 6 applications that I submitted, 2 of them I happened to be interviewed to conclude the application process. Oregon State University handed me an interview that traveled almost 45 minutes. And because I wrote in my SOP that my research interests align with this faculty, on the day of the interview,
they brought the person.
Yes. Exactly. And it was a panel interview. And when they made me aware I have an interview session, I also sent in an email that what should I expect in the email in the interview session? What kind of questions am I going to be asked? And then also, would the interview be a one-on-one interview or a panel interview? But from our background in Ghana, you being invited for an interview is a hooray for you that you are going to be picked because you are near the last stage. But they forwarded an email and they gave me an outline of what I should expect in the interview.
Okay.
And I did same at the University of Delaware.
Okay, so I will just pause you here quickly and then let them check something, what I was talking about in terms of the essay, and I will jump on to Eben for the experience in PhD. So Eben, prepare. As you can see here, the application essay, there are two types of them. This is the first one, and let me open it here so I can read it better. So, what scientific research experience have you had? What are the research interests and the long-term professional objectives? Um, what specific attributes of our department make you feel that it is or it will be a good place for you? So, as he was saying, he read about the program and saw the goals or the objectives of the program, and that is why it was important to do that. And here they said we encourage you to specify this faculty. Sorry, first of all, it says please note that many research-based graduate programs appreciate seeing that applicants are knowledgeable about research area offered by faculty in the program and have identified faculty whose research is in alignment with the applicant's interest. We encourage you to specify this faculty in your application essay and as appropriate to be in communication with them to confirm that they are considering incoming students and stuff. So you cannot miss this part. You can write an essay, but if you don't read this specific instruction, your essay might miss the important aspect that it should convey. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Mr. Amponsa. And now, let me remove this one from the stage. Eben, so how easy was it for you to identify funding following your master's program for the current PhD you are pursuing?
Okay, I think that Amponsa has already mentioned some of them, but to add to that, there are multiple ways of funding. So the general ones we know, the assistantships, which is the RAT, and the administrative or professional, which is the office assistant. But all help, depending on the school, all of them help you for your tuition, health insurance, and others, plus stipend. So, and there is also fellowship. Fellowships are very competitive and for high achievers. So mostly they consider those who have experience, advanced experience in the area, and they are giving the fellowship. Those who are going for postdoc and other professional bodies. There is also the external fellowships, which, for instance, the National Science Foundation and the graduate research grants. There are quite a lot of, opportunities when it comes to funding. So you have to enlarge your scope, broaden your scope in terms of your search. Now, your greatest asset in application, whether funding or admission, is commitment to reading. So I was just looking at you and then listening to everything that you say. It is not different from what I'm also coming to say. It's about your commitment to reading. What do they look out for in an applicant? So you go to the program website like you just did. And also, let me also switch before coming back again. There are different types of applicants. Those who know which schools they are interested in, and those or which programs, and those who do not know where they want to go for. For instance, if you are ready for any program in education area, then you just go to your Google, your search engine, then you type in assistantship in education-related programs, or you can even add graduate assistantships in education-related programs. When you type in this, you will get a lot of responses. You scroll down, and you'll be seeing them coming. Names of the programs and also the schools. If you don't know the schools, you can use a program that you are interested in. So for instance, you mentioned that of curriculum and instruction. Then go to as graduate assistantships in curriculum and instruction program. Then the moment you start seeing the schools, it's a hint to tell you that these schools give assistantships. I mean the scholarships. That's how the generic way of searching, and they give results. So there is no, how do you call it, any rocket science. The rocket science behind it is the common knowledge of searching. Okay. So that is that. Apart from that, you can also go to phd.com. phd.com also gives schools that offer fully funded programs, whether in education. Okay, come again.
Finish, then I would ask.
Yeah, in education, in STEM, almost every area. So in terms of search, there is no one way of search. Now you are searching for school, but I told you to search such that it gives you both funding and the program. That's why whenever you are searching, I said that you should type in graduate assistantship in or schools that offer graduate assistantship in so, which program that you are interested in. Because I'm into education, if I'm interested in maybe educational technology, Amponsan mathematics education, and one key thing is that Amponsan mentioned that the names of the program differ from school to school. And when you look at the name of the program, there are concentrations under it where you may find your area of interest. So, me like this, let me tell you something. At my undergrad, I am religion and history student.
Wow.
And the master's too, I did religious education. Okay. So, I wanted to still further in religion. But throughout my search, the requirement I was never ready for, because they were looking for like Russia, German.
Okay, it looks like your line is breaking, so I would go to Amponsa and then come back to you later. Eben, so fix your internet and let's go to Osman.
Can you hear me?
No, your internet is breaking. So yeah, quickly, Osmond, I want you to highlight some of the fundamental documents that are needed to, like one must have to start this application process, be it MSc or PhD in the US. Eben, your internet is breaking, so please kindly fix it and rejoin. Yeah. And then afterwards, Amponzan, there will be there are some questions here. I want us to also address our listeners' question along the line, so they don't go.
Here's back.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. So can you finalize what you were saying so that I will jump to Amponzan?
Yes. So basically, I just started with the search for like a well-funded PhD. This is how I did my search. I remember the phrase. I said a well-funded PhD program in. Then I had 3 areas of interest: international education policies and leadership.
Okay.
Then I also had interest in curriculum and instruction. And then you come to my main program, which I'm currently doing, student affairs and higher education. These were the 3 main areas that I was interested in doing. And so, I got admission. I got admission to all the schools. With 2 of them, I had funding. I applied to 3 schools. 4 schools, and I had all of them admission, but I had 2 funding, Purdue and my current school, and I came to my current school. But another thing too is that I had already made contacts when I went for conferences and programs. I had contact with some of the schools, even though with my current school, I had not made any contact, but I reached out, as Osmond did, reach out to faculty members about the opportunities available. I had already read, so I didn't ask of something that is already on their portal. I only asked of what was not. that is how I went about to get my school with funding.
Thank you.
Then
I was thinking
the
that
application, I started my application. Come with the question.
I was thinking that because you studied masters around the same field in the USA, maybe with your supervisor was still having space for continuation in the PhD field, and you explore that opportunity. However,
Yes,
it's actually it wasn't that straightforward like that.
yes, I had admission to my own school, but their funding was too small for me for my liking, and so
Okay.
I was like, let me go away. I just went. I had the opportunity there, but I left because the funding was too small to stay for 4 years, and that kind of funding was, in fact, just a meager for me. So that's why I left.
All right. So quickly to our listeners, you can realize that most of our people are not just putting one application, at least a few, 2, 3, 4 applications, and the way where their competencies are higher, where they have the higher chance of succeeding, and then they consider. So I think that should be a clue that we should pick from this meeting, that irrespective of, for example, somebody has experience or MBA in business administration, and there are options for finance, there are options for accounting, economics and stuff. If you look at the university, the programs that are attracting more funds and stuff, and the program where the faculty the faculty members are ready to get people to assist you, you consider that, and then you go there, as long as it's aligned with your interest. Just not,
Well, then let's
don't just
put this across. Those who are interested in MBA, Indiana State University have been recruiting, getting MBA students from Ghana. A lot of students from Ghana are doing Indiana State MBA from at my former school, Indiana State University. So they can check out.
please also, as he said, Indiana State University, if you are considering MBA fully funded, you can check that out. And now I want to go to Osmond again.
Okay.
The basic documents or preparation needed, you mentioned some of them, but they were kind of scattered. So I want you to briefly or quickly go through the list of what um are, what documents are required to
So
be able to
the
complete an application process,
okay.
because a lot of people come to me or they are writing here, we want to, I have this, I want to apply for this, I have this, I want, can I apply for this, do I qualify? But you prove further and they don't even have all the required documents. So can you help us understand what are the fundamental documents for
Okay. So the basic academic document which most university will specify your GPA to have for consideration will come from your transcript.
Mhm.
And at the time of the application, most schools will say that one is an unofficial transcript
Mhm.
because you possess it and you have scanned to upload for application, or even if you mail it,
Mhm.
it is your own. So your
So
transcript,
transcript, yes.
yes. And then within the transcript, it differs from university to university. Some will say they will need credential evaluation. So
Yes.
your transcript has to be evaluated and aligned with the US system,
Mhm.
which comes at extra cost. So I
Mhm.
avoided university that were
Not
requesting for that.
requesting.
Uh-huh.
We have spoken about this in our previous
Okay.
interaction.
Then they also require statement of purpose, or others will say personal statement or
Motivation letter.
motivation letter, depending on the university. Then for PhD, they needed a writing sample.
And some masters also require that. So
Required. So
don't
the
limit it
writing
to PhD.
sample, friends were saying you can submit your assignment, your research work. But I was fortunate that in 2022, when I got the hint to start the process, I didn't have any personal publication. So I used that year to do one publication out of my master's research.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, to UCC published my master's work at the RSC
Mhm.
Protri. So it's kind of, I had two lengths of publication, one by my previous university and then one personal submission with my supervisor. So these were the three key requirements. Then, sorry, fourth one is the CV.
CV, yeah.
Then one difference I observe from all other universities, the University of Delaware, they have additional essays to put in, where they will say it is not recommended.
It is not. It is optional, but
It is
recommended.
excellent.
It is
But
here.
I
I can show
committed
you.
myself to put in all those. About 3 of them I submitted. Because during the application process, you don't know how you weigh. And even after admission, you don't know how you weigh. And which document matters most, because you are not privy to any grading system to say, oh, your academic credentials, if they need a minimum of second class upper, you have it. So that one is 50%. You are not privy to those internal requirements.
Okay. So as you can see, this is I'm sharing on the screen the additional relevant experience recommended but not required. And this you have to write an essay of about 250 to 300 words for any of the below listed topics.
Yes.
So even though they are saying that it's recommended but not required, try to do it. It will help a lot. Okay, so now we have transcript. I think yeah, certificate is not really needed at for some universities. So transcript, CV, motivation or SOPs, and
Writing sample.
Writing sample. Yes, writing sample for
And recommendation.
recommendations. I was going to come to that. And some of them, the recommendations, you have to provide the information about your referee, and then they will send the link, and the recommendations will be sent directly from your your referee's email. So these are quite fundamental, and usually they want you to have the information you feel, example, your personal information just as it appears in your passport. So I think even though if you don't have passport at that moment, you can apply, but you make sure that the information you are going to put there will be the same as the information that will be on your passport. So these are quite important. If I have left anything out, please you can help me in terms
So
of the
one
document.
tip in, maybe we will not have a session to address that has to do with the name. For what I realized was that the universities that I had appointment from, or sorry, admission from, I have 3 names: Osmond, Amponsa, Esiama. But to them, the middle name is not quite relevant to them at the US. So I needed to write back to the admission team through the program coordinator that on my passport, I have these 3 names.
It doesn't matter.
So in a way, you might not be experiencing it, but when you have opportunity to make corrections, don't risk. That is their heart. So I wrote to them, and then they effected that. And since then, anytime I have a section to write first name, I add my middle name to my first name.
First name, okay.
Make the 3 names intact. Then the issue with recommenders is the most challenging part of the whole journey, because putting in 6 applications means in any university you need 3 recommenders, which gives 18 recommendations. And sometimes the university will be like, they need a professional recommender 1 and then academic recommender 2 of them to make 3. So it is worth establishing good relation with your previous faculty, especially those of us who completed long years before getting back to this. And when you are able to go through all and then it said you need 3 recommenders, don't lose chance that you need 3 recommenders like that. Go the extra mile. If you get about 5 or 6, it helps you. So if University A says, oh, we need 3 recommenders, but on their portal, you can add on as many as you like. And I was doing that. I had 4 recommenders who supported me. So I submit the 4. Prior to the deadline, if the 3 have submitted, I am safe. Because some university will say the recommendation is part of their deadline.
Yeah, that's
so
correct.
If you submit or the D-Day for submission and you don't have all 3 recommenders, it means you've lost the opportunity.
Some people are suffering, trying hard to find it, even 2 or 3 recommended so far and stuff. I saw that Eben was last. Yeah, Eben, go.
Yeah. So I you see, that's some schools give those allowances. I applied to this school and they were so strict that I added a document which I thought was important. Is the guys sending back that they said they didn't need this. So that's why you really need to read on the portal. If me personally, like you said, those things that they say options, then I'll add. But when I read something that they don't require, they say they need three recommended. I said in my 3. And I, like you said, that's like Osmond, like this, he has in excess, and that's fine. But those who are struggling, but the crucial aspect is when to send in your application is important.
Exactly.
Because most of the schools that give funding, their deadlines are between the 1st December to 10th December. So be sure to put in everything by the last week of November, because they start and giving out admission decisions right in the middle of this December, so that those who need immediate funding, they are able to decide. Those who are giving automatic fundings and fellowships, that's how they work. Because if you are working, they want to nominate their student for presidential fellowship. It is out of it that they are able to do quick, and out of the competition, they nominate which students, incoming student, they want to nominate from the department to the president, the university president, for fellowship. All those things, they also do a competition pool, and they feel that sometimes I have noticed something that people should take as a clue. If they see that you qualify for throughout everything, they do first come first serve funding. They will give it to you. Yes. So
they actually stated that for priority funding, your application must be submitted by so and so date, like you said. Delaware is by 15th of January.
Yes. Okay. That's why you need to work on your recommendation prior to. So me, when I realized that I want to continue, I don't want to work after my master, I want to continue with the doctoral, I started from the previous semester, telling my professors whom I have noticed that they are very much interested, they are into me, to tell them that I'll be applying for this and I'll be needing recommendation when it comes. And so they, oh no, Ebenezer, don't worry, just come. So when I told them some of the schools, my recommendation went before my application. Yes, because I did something. There is something that you can do quick. You can be trying to be skipping some of the schools. You can skip the process onto the recommendation session. Then you send in your recommenders information. Then I click back. Then it's sent to them before I come back to start the application, because I know that recommendations, sometimes you have to be on the recommenders, because they also have, your referees have a lot of things to do. If not, you can do everything, but your funding may delay. You can get admission later on, but you may not get funding, because funding is crucial to that. The other thing too is that most people do not really scrutinize their materials. Let me tell you something. I did one mistake which cost me during my application. There was one school that I will not mention. I was very much interested. That was my priority, like my first priority. Yes. And it's like whenever I don't sleep, I dream about this school. Okay. I have finished my application, sent in everything. I think that whether it was overdoing or something, then the crafted SOPs, you know, I create folders.
Multiple.
Yes, multiple folders. So the finished one, instead of me to send the final product, I send like
the draft.
You see, which had a lot of edits. So one of the professors told me, which I have contacted personally, he told me like, Ebenezer, why?
And do you know what that will mean? Attention to detail. You are failing on attention to detail.
Exactly. Meanwhile, I have my finest product, which is because the SOPs I have mastered it and how it was going. I know that's why. Like I think, I applied to 5 schools and I got rejection from that school. All the other 4, I got them. And I knew that my SOPs are back. As time went by, I had gradually mastered that craft and those kind of things and interviews. You did interviews, some of them to almost all the schools. I did interviews for admissions and funding, and you do the interview, you get the admission. Fundings are competitive, especially at the doctoral level. So you should know which of them. Some of the school you don't need any interview. So some people, they just worry themselves. Some people want the Harvard, they want the Cornell, they want the Massachusetts, whilst you get Purdue. Purdue is a R1 institution, very intensive research institution, but they don't conduct any interview. You just put in everything that is demanded of you. I got admission from Purdue. I got funding from Purdue. So why go and worry myself with Cornell? So that is how sometimes the intricacies, some people, I understand also that the high achieving students, I had second class from UCC. Those who may have first class may think that, I fit for Cornell, I fit for Harvard, I fit for this University of Chicago or whatever. Stanford. But exactly. The trick is that, for instance, you may be very good in books, but practically you may not be there. For instance, when it comes to interviews, getting interview like this with people is like, some people is something to them. So you may get admission. When it's time for you to interview for funding, you may be found wanting. So why do you think that you should worry yourself in that? But it's individual choices and preferences. You should know your ability, where you are, which school and which programs to fit your purpose and your abilities. Looking at all, come together with your everything. Don't be myopic to think of only one direction and leave the other. I was giving this advice to my brother-in-law, who is also, I've been helping to apply. He's a very high achiever. But when I tried to interrogate with him, I told him one thing, point blank, that you should do this, do that, because you need to master this area. And at this time, you are not there, so don't go for this, don't go here, don't go that. And this time, when he saw the results, he's like, Brother Saba. So these are the intricacies that people should notice when they are putting in the applications. It is not like you need to commit time to it. You need to commit time to it. It is not just a one day, it's not an event, it's a process. So it's a process, it must begin from somewhere and it ends somewhere. So if you don't do the process, you want to be jumping, skipping processes or procedures when you want some people to help you and you put everything to them. No, it does not work that way. The majority of the work lies on you as an applicant who is serious about what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Those of us who are there to guide you, me like this, when you want me to assist you with something, and I look at your level of seriousness, you not tell me that maybe that this kind of, no. I think that we help each other, but it depends on how you commit to it. That will help let someone to also give their all. Like in the previous, my earlier submission, I told you how my friends and colleagues helped me. I pushed myself a lot, and they also saw my level of seriousness and commitment, and they assisted me. And I think that with these, people are able to go, and you should be fine with that.
Thank you.
There's another myth. People also always think that you should have first class or second upper to get. Some people have low and this thing, they are going. Yeah, sorry
Thank you.
to cut
Thank
your time,
you.
but
No
yeah.
problem. No problem, because there was a question here which you are speaking to, which is great, because there is one lady. Let me just read her question so she knows that you are addressing her question, right?
Right.
Oh, looks like I missed her, but yeah, she was talking about having a low GPA. I don't know what she means by a low GPA, but like you are saying, that can be compensated for by other
Yes.
aspects of the person,
Yes.
right? Can you highlight
Okay,
just
so
a
then
few
let me.
in 1 minute?
Okay. So with that, they value your commitment to other things other than your GPA only. So how have you been volunteering for other things?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been active on campus activities?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any leadership experience? Have you done any community service or internships or any professional experience? So all this encapsulates your total application package. It comes to your resume, your CV, because your CV talks about you aside the classroom. Outside the classroom, what have you been doing? For instance, it was there that we realized that all these our religious activities that we've been doing were not in vain.
Very important.
Because when I am doing the interview, the way I'll be hitting things, you need to relate your resume to yes, so that it fits the purpose. It's not just that maybe I was the coordinator for my religious organization, and so no, it doesn't. Look at how your commitment fits into the program or assistantship. That's how it is done. So it can be compensated.
I'm not cutting you. Just a quick one. Again, on the same, we are using the reference here. You see, with Delaware, one of the recommended but not required essay is asking you to write about your community involvement and or service, leadership, overcoming social, economic, or physical barriers. This you would see that they are all, because if you're asking for funding, you are going to be a research assistant or a teaching assistant. You are going to assume a certain leadership role. They want to know how that will be useful for your at their disposal. Are you the person who can serve community, right? Are you ready to use your knowledge for the benefit of others? And I think what you are even doing right now is part of community service, because it's not everybody who will gain this knowledge and will be willing to give it out for free for people to also benefit from it. How to overcome socioeconomic and physical barriers. For example, ability to adapt to different situation, culture, and stuff. Because when you move from Ghana or wherever you are to US, the environment is not going to be the same. You should prove that you can thrive, right?
Yes.
Do you have any professional ethics? Are you coachable, because you are going to work under a supervisor and you should be the person that can be taught, that is ready for criticism. I remember in my master's, when I write my thesis, my supervisor will be writing nonsense, like, as a comment to what I wrote, because it doesn't make sense to him. And if you take it personal that this person is insulting you, you will not learn what you need to learn. So you should allow yourself to be coachable. These are all part of the application procedure that are useful outside the GPA. So I really appreciate that you brought it up. You brought it up at this stage. It is quite important. I don't want us to travel.
It is something that we have long overlooked on when it comes to some of these aspects of our life on campus. And I think these are some of the things that also in the current program that I'm doing, which addresses some of these things, how students can really lift themselves to this level when they go outside campus and even on campus, how they adjust with or they live with other people, accept and know people, overcoming challenges. How to help students to understand some of these things is what my program seeks to do.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I'm so much enthused when it comes to these opportunities to help students understand these intricacies.
Thank you very much. Also, this one is a direct question. Before Osmond, you add anything. So Rhoda Ando was asking about available space in your university. If it's not particularly about your professor, is there any recommendation? Are there still offers at the place?
Oh yes, there
to Osmond.
So to speak to that, what I will advise is to find out. Because as a student, you are not much into the internal administrative faculty issues. Yes, that is what I would say. And it depends on, because I know for our program, deadline that was around first week in December.
Wow.
So the most interesting aspect is to do personal engagement with the program coordinator or the program director.
All right.
So whilst we are at that stage, that is why I said 2022.
You used 23 months.
Yes, because most application by then has ended and I didn't have enough information to go on. So I needed to prepare myself a whole 1 year cycle to meet another fall application time. So for fall application, okay.
I'm not cutting you, but so for those who are listening to us, who have desire to study abroad and probably have already missed some priority deadline, it's not in vain. I think this also offers you the opportunity to prepare adequately, to get in contact with people who will provide you referees, to refine your CV, to engage in some of these activities we are mentioning, like voluntary services, internships, community service, and develop their skills. Some of you, like he said, there are some universities in US who waive
application
English proficiency test, and there are others who do not. If you feel that for this particular program I want to do, this is the best university for me, this is the program for me, and they require IELTS, prepare yourself and write it. You did that, right? Eben, you did that. But also
yes,
when
I wrote GRE. Later on, I wrote GRE. So
exam.
Yes,
exactly, which was even far better because
I didn't write any of the exams. I skipped schools that were.
I know exactly.
So I to my strength. That is what I would say.
I agree, but
it's also important to get your proficiency letter from your institution.
That is true, and some of them, they will even say that they have waived it for this country. This person coming from this country.
There are some countries that they waive for them, and mostly schools in Ghana they waive it for them.
My only caution is that, for example, University of Boston is offering funding for public health, right? For them, once you're admitted, you are offered funding. Others are not offering this, but they require you to provide IELTS or TOEFL. It doesn't matter whether you are coming from Ghana or not. And so if this particular, this is how you want to succeed and you feel like you have a higher chance of being accepted at Boston, then try to get this qualification as part of your document. Use the time to prepare and then gather all documents. I have seen Prempe, Akosua Prempe, talking about she is in a program, master's program, and if she can apply directly for PhD. And I think, again, it's good to get all the necessary documents. Most of you finished master's before applying for the PhD. So she still has about a year less than a year to finish. So from now, she can start preparing the other documents. And once the master's is over, she can put them together and submit a formidable application.
Even some schools even accept direct
Bachelor's
PhD from the bachelor's
directly.
level.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
My
yes, that's
school
very true.
also, I want to put across that my school is still accepting, my program, they are still accepting
Hmm.
applications. I think it is ending on January 15th. So those
Can
who want to, but as
can
for
you tell?
funding, I have no idea about it. What I know is that the application is still open.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are several applications open until until March. And also for US schools, usually the fall, they consider funding usually for the fall uh,
Yeah.
Yes,
uh, season. And so
yes.
if you are here listening to us and you are considering um, funding, if you go for most of the other seasons, they will not consider you.
Yeah.
So, Amponsa, please try to continue or try to complete what you were saying before I interjected. I wanted to specify the IELTS part. Yeah,
Okay.
and then we can wind up within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh,
I have.
any other issue to wind up with?
Oh, okay. Eben, do you have
Yes,
any?
sir.
I am asking
No, I think
you.
that all that I wish people, I wish them the best, and I think that this information are very crucial. You just reach out whichever way that you want any support or assistance. But for me, I am very, very serious on who is serious that I
Okay.
can devote my time to. Yeah.
Can you give us your? Can you give us how somebody can reach you, either by social media, which page, what's the name, or something, for guidance and
Uh, my,
assistance?
my yeah, my LinkedIn is Ebenezer Boache, and sorry, my Facebook is Eben K Boache.
Okay.
So,
I
or
will
if they
find
want
your. I will
my
find your
email,
LinkedIn. Go ahead.
my email is ebenezerboache991@gmail.com.
Benezabuache991 at gmail.com. You can send it to me. I will put it in the
Yes.
description of the video afterwards so that they can contact
Okay.
you. I also put your LinkedIn account, LinkedIn link, profile link to that. I will do the same for um um Osmond, because like they said, they can help you when you are fully prepared. And to be honest with you, one of the annoying part is that when somebody wants you to help them and they are giving you reasons why you should not help them. Some of them, even the quality of the scanned document they will send to you, me, I can't even read that what is on there. It's so blurred and so dark, and you want me to use this to apply for school for you. Even me, that I'm not admission officer, I'm not accepting approving it, you know. So please take some pain and time to build up your documents. Put yourself in a certain position so that if you are asking for help, which of course comes free, but at the expense of the other person's time, you wouldn't want him to spend 1 3 days working on your CV. So the
Yeah,
training sections, the live sections we've been having to talk about some of this, how to improve and make yourself better, use them. If you use the information and then you get to a point you want to proofread, like somebody is asking here, just a proofread, I can read it within like a few minutes and then give you points. But when you come and that is also the same reason why sometimes we reach out to some faculties and they don't respond.
yes.
If you are making mistakes, common grammatical errors in your CV, which is like 2 pages long, what it tells the person is that you don't pay attention to details. You don't
Yeah,
even like to reread. And what about if you are going to do research and then you have to read and write countless pages of thesis? How many mistakes
that's
are you
true.
going to make there? So it's very important. If you are going to reach Osmond or Eben to help you, please try to get some basic things right, so that they will just add some technicalities based on their experience to help you move forward. I would also put our general um, um, email address here, and if you need any help, you can reach us through that address. So, um, final comments from Mr. Mpunsa. How far? How is the study going so far? And what uh, big advice are you going to give out to our listeners at this stage?
Okay. There is one other aspect I want to chip in.
Chip in, please.
We have what we call application fee waiver.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Aha.
yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that one, if your intention is to move in next academic year, the fall intake 2026, which is August, September, then when you start writing to program coordinators or directors, whilst your link is within, like your email address, you have made use of it to contact them or engage them. When there is a webinar to advertise the program or to speak about the program, like how we are doing for our case, when you attend, you are guaranteed that your application fee for that particular university will be waived for you.
Oh, okay.
So on my part, as I said, I applied to 6 schools. 2 of them, because I attended their webinar, they waived it for me.
Mm.
And for some, along the line, if you engage the program director that, oh, is it possible that your application fee can be waived for you? Some university have it. They will give you the application code and then waive it for you. So that one will also help reduce the financial constraint that comes with putting in more application. On
All right.
the final note, what I will say is that,
Someone is asking if you could help her,
okay,
and that is a
okay,
sorry. This is my nephew who is messing my life here. So, Adakwa, again, I think he can help you, but you have to get to a certain stage of preparedness. Which stage you are in your study program. If you have just 6 months to finish, yes, I'm going to put Ponsan's information in the description after the session, so you can contact him and he can offer you some guidance in your application, since you are also in the education field. You're already teaching and then taking the master's program. Yeah.
okay. So to wrap up, I will say we should be joyful that others are succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
When they make it, I don't think we, the three gathered here, we knew others who are listening to us. But some of us see it as a testimony to God and then to help others also make it. So that is the encouraging aspect, I would say, because whilst on some of these WhatsApp platforms, the whole year gave me opportunity to even see the outcome of VESA interviews. Some will share their transcripts, they were denied. Others will share their transcript, they have been approved. And these were all mixed feelings that took me through the process.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm going to share our WhatsApp.
For the VESA stage, we can also.
Oh, yeah, I have a question because somebody asked a question. Hey, Ben, yeah, please let me ask this before we end it. So someone asked about how come you were denied visa even though you had funding, and then when you finish, you can go ahead and elaborate on how you get the subsequent ones, and then Osmond, you can add to that. I think that will be our final discussion. What are things we need to prepare before
Yeah.
reaching out to you guys for assistance? I think we mentioned them about the documents you need, and usually when you have the documents, when you need help, maybe with the motivation or SOP drafting and making your CV better, you can do that. I have a session on CV on my YouTube channel. So please first familiarize yourself with the information about the CV writing, how to make it better, and then you can reach out to me to review your CV for you once you have gone through the video and you have gotten the basics right. So yeah, Eben, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, let me make this quick comment. I checked out your video on the CV and I really loved it. It was very nice and interesting. So yeah, bravo to that. Why I was denied the visa? I think my first time I didn't know much about the interview process. When I packed my everything, when I got to the interview, they asked me a question. I was giving simple, straightforward answers instead of me elaborating. What do you do? I teach at the that's so who is funding you? Oh, you're my uncle. That's it. Meanwhile, so later on, I got to understand. I got on those WhatsApp platforms, and I saw how the interviews were conducted. Those who were giving testimonies about how their interview went, and so they were sharing those ideas that when you go, you should elaborate on some of these simple questions they ask you. For instance, when you are asked about what do you do, I'm a teacher, I teach maybe CRS at the high school level. As a teacher, I do this, and that. I do this and that. So those are the things who is funding you. My uncle, he's a professor at the University of maybe Cape Coast. He also owns a consulting for this. So these are some of the simple elaboration that you need to do when you go there. But I think what's really made denial was about how I was responding to that question. Basically, that was nothing else. Yeah. And so I think that you should just be curious, be inquisitive for knowledge, okay, of what you want to do. If you want to go for this, get close to those who know. I was telling my friend, a friend of mine who is in Ghana, who wants to study, and when they are asking you questions, they will ask you about those who are in the United States are not into education.
Oh, so we lost our brother. Quickly, Osmond, can you tell us the experience with your visa application so that others can learn from that?
Okay, so around February last year, I had my first admission. And that was when a colleague who was guiding me along the process said, let's book the date for the interview, though I was waiting for other admissions to come in. And it was a smart decision he made me aware, because he was quite experienced. He had had 3 denials before finally being approved on his 4th time. So true to when I booked somewhere early March, my date was 18th November. So getting a date is also a challenge. And 18 November was just about a month to finish the semester, though I had full funding. So through still conversation and interaction, sometimes per our background, we are keen to keeping information to ourselves. But we need to find ways to open up. That is what personally helped me, that I realized I can't do it all. I need to learn on others to push me on. So this guy who even advised me to book the date, which was 18 November, his mindset is after booking, the rest is to hunt for better days when they are released by the embassy. But how can you hunt all night, all day for better dates? So I got interaction with another guy who also said, oh, as soon as he had his admission, he sought for emergency appointment and then had it within 24 hours. So I followed suit and did that. And then it became a lesson to the guy who was coaching me to also learn from me that this is what so we all share information and then move on.
So
And along
actually,
the line, lastly, when I had the school of my choice, so to say, it was better off. I needed to reach out to the embassy because I couldn't change some of my personal documents from my first university on the application portal. So I needed to notify them before the interview day that I am changing this university to university so so and so. So based on that, these are my information. I attached my admission letter and stuff, and then they did the change for me.
okay.
And on the D-day of the interview, I was asked only two questions. So that was where Eben was advising that within the US visa interview, they asked three main things. Are you a credible student? Two, are you financially sound? Then three, do you have home ties? That when you are done with your study, you are coming back to your country as an international student. If you master these three areas, you'll be able to go through. And the strategic, my first question was, why are you going to the US?
So we will have a session to discuss in
Yeah,
details the visa, the details about the visa, so that people
yeah,
who are planning to join this year can learn more from that. I think this is a very interesting topic we have to dive in, because trust me, there are also several information, written information, giving tips and stuff, and sometimes you can't just learn them by heart and present them as though it's some exams you're going to write. You have to personalize them to suit your situation. So we can have a good session on that one alone, so that we can we have enough time for our people to join. Unfortunately, Eben's internet is kind of not stable, and he's not able to join again, probably. However, he has sent his email, which I have put in the comment section. Please, if you need to reach him, you can do so through this. And um, we have we are using this platform to get people informed. Sometimes, when about 20 people are reaching me for the same help, I'm one person, but I have to, if I'm going to spend 1 hour to help each of them, that's going to be 20 hours on my part. But if I manage to get other people to bring the same knowledge to us in 2 hours or 1 hour, that will help me save time. So please try to share this YouTube channel to people who are seeking insight about on studying abroad, and how they can even do that by themselves. Trust me, all the people here talking to you have study abroad experiences, and they did the application, they went through the application processes by themselves. So when they are talking to you, they are giving you first-hand experience. Uh, in most cases, people are not learning from other people's experience. They have to repeatedly make the mistake before they learn from the mistake. And if you are not careful, you will waste some years. So please, it's important to learn from other people's experience rather than waiting to learn from our own mistakes. We have gone through the mistakes already, and now you have to learn the best way to uh, cut down the time needed for you to be successful with your application. And yeah, so I think there is a private message here. Let me check. Oh, okay.
yeah, that's my email
Okay,
address.
so I'm putting Osman's email also in the link. Oh, sorry, in the comment section. Feel free to contact him. And also, I have put my channel's email address, which is edutrav. I'm going to change it subsequently at gmail.com. I have it also in the link. Please reach out in case you need help. If you cannot reach directly to Osmond and Eben, you can reach out to me and I will connect you with them. Uh, in the future, I want to organize some kind of coaching and mentorship program where I will rely on some of you guys to link people in your field to you, for you to guide and help them build their research skills and stuff. Because I've realized that this is also an important skills that admission officers look out for in potential research students. So our followers, keep on following and keep on um, sharing the good news with other people to join, so that together we can build a successful community of study abroad people who can in turn influence the next generation in their study abroad. We have a link. We have a WhatsApp group, right, where
Yeah.
Amponsa is and Eben is also there. So I'm. Let me find the link to that. Let me find the link. I will share the link, and if you are not already there, you can join. You can join, and there you can always reach um, any of our experts talking here. Okay. All right then. Thank you, Mr. Amponsa, very
Thank
much, and Eben for dedicating your time to lecture us. What's the time? What is the time at your place now?
it's almost 2 p.m.
2 p.m. 5 hours.
So
5
5
hours difference. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Thank you so much. God bless you for your devotion and time for interacting with our audience. And I hope that when there is time to talk about the visa application aspect, you will be available to also support the cause. God bless you. And to our audience, thank you for staying in touch. And I hope that this information will go a long way to help you in preparing towards um, um, fully funded application in the United States. Whenever we have new information, we're going to bring it to your doors through this channel. And also, apart from US, I bring tips about various scholarships around the world, and I take you through I make videos about the application processes, how to go about it if you are confused. So again, subscribe if you have not done that already, and share with others who are seeking for similar opportunities, so that they will always stay informed whenever there is a new update about scholarships for international students.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too. And I wish all of us success and God blessings this year too. Amen.
Amen. Amen.